Greetings and God bless. Thank you for watching. I just wanted to share a couple things that I've noticed recently. I was chatting with like an 80 some year old man who had served, I think it was in Vietnam. And uh, so he had been a pilot and um, so, he served his country and, you know, worked for half a century and whatnot, and, in, in being a pilot and whatnot, and teaching other people how to fly. And he happened to mention a town nearby where sex change operations are big there. And so it's 2022, and we're hearing a lot about people's remorse about changing because it's basically a lifetime. You're a lifetime medical patient of having to go in for surgeries, which is the medical industry is all about growth. It's all about just like it's trying to grow. It's not trying to stop the problem. It's not trying to fix the problem. It's a business, it's a growth industry. And so, what's the big growth industry now? It's these sex change operations. It's incredibly lucrative on so many levels because you throw in the hormones and then the psychiatric medications and all the complications that happen from the operation, not to mention the operation itself. So and so I was just saying it seems like those sex change operations are not a good idea. Like, it doesn't seem to be good for children, little children, not to mention adults. And the guy, he was like, it's good, blah blah blah, it's good, And I mean, I'm sure he seems like a kind of a conservative person. I mean, maybe he's a hardcore Democrat or something like that. But and when it came, excuse me, when it came right down to it, he said it's a way to make money. And I've heard that same thing about the cancer industry, because the cancer industry is a growth industry. They want more cancer patients because it gives them job security. I mean, so that's why there's all these toxins in our environment and stress in our environment and gaslighting of patients, because that is a perfect storm for um, organ failure and just uh, bad self-care. So it cultivates degeneration and what we are calling cancer. And I just think that is incredibly despicable. I mean, and I consider it like being a traitor. Just like sell whatever vulnerable, uninformed person down the river, so they can be preyed upon by whatever, by the medical industry or by whoever. And well, because it's making money. Like, this is so despicable. I cannot even put enough words to it. And not only is it being a traitor to your country, because you weaken this country, like by this cultivation of cancer, by the cultivation of autism, by the cultivation of mental illness, by the cultivation of this gender dysphoria, which there are so many things. There's all these chemicals in our environment that disrupt our hormones, not to mention stuff that are injected that may be targeting certain genetics or something about one's orientation. And so that's just like, like people like this, like, so there's the Antifa people, who are these entitled rich people who go to low income neighborhoods and and smash windows and help destroy a black person's store. So those are absolutely despicable. Those are the kind of like the apparent parasite mange of humanity, traitors of America. So those Antifa Marxist people, just absolutely despicable. But then we have these, patriots, these people who've gone to war for America and, um, worked and paid into the system, and yet they too are selling the most vulnerable people out just so somebody can make money. I mean, I think, and so that's being a traitor, because we in a strong good country you don't throw your most vulnerable, highly influenced, like you don't throw them under the bus just to grind them into meat for commerce. That's just that it doesn't have to be that way. That is unnecessary. And what is being a traitor to humankind? Because I think that really is, like, I think the Antifa, entitled Marx people, and that's who I find. The Marxists are usually rich kids. That's all who I've found in my life. When I've gone to college, it's the rich kids that like Marxism. When I lived in a city, it was rich kids who were living on the street, that were into that kind of thing. It's never a working class, like poor person that's into Marxism. And I think these rich kids think that a poor person would be into Marxism, but no. Speaking for myself, I'm a lifelong poor person, and Marxism has never appealed to me. Even before I understood the occult background, or understood the how politics work, how, systems, that the difference between democracy and republic. Before I even, was into that, I was not. It did not appeal to me. As somebody whose income has, been like zero to around 10,000 a year. So, um, anyway, it boggles my mind that on one hand, there's people who think it's okay to have their neighbors and their family and the general public be fodder for commerce. And the thing is, you don't have to have a cancer industry. You don't have to have a sex change industry. You could still have commerce. People are into like organic food. People are into vitamins and supplements. People are into even, health movement kind of practices. Like you could have whole, um, huge industry on that, make a big profit on that. But no, like because we are in a satanic paradigm, everything that's going to be, promoted, um, like specialty systems, it's going to be how to destroy humans. Because if the powers that be cared about humans, like they're trying to say that they're caring because they're like, oh well, somebody wants a sex change, let's give them a sex change because we care. No, they don't care. Not only do they want to profit and keep you in constant misery, but they're trying to mess up your life. Like they're trying to, distract you from communion with God. Fortunately, God uses every bad thing for good. So when these people are having their nether regions chopped up into little tiny pieces, um, they some will have an existential crisis and sincerely reach out to God, and perhaps they will have communion with God and, have some peace in their life. But my point is that these growth industries, whether it's medicine or the automobile or whatever, things don't have to be destructive. People will be willing to spend their time and their money for something healthy, for clean water, for water filters or air filters or growing hydroponics at home. There's so many fascinating, wonderful things out there that people need, that they would be willing to buy, that's realistic. But no, what's being cultivated is what can harm and disfigure human beings at the earliest age. Let's cultivate autism. Let's cultivate cancer in children. Let's cultivate mental cancer in children and make them plant crazy ideas in their heads. So this is just my opinion, and feel free to comment below. And this is not the opinion, of course, of this platform, which I'm sure it's completely opposite. And the AI that's watching this and evaluating, statistically, I am accurate about the cultivation of illness, whether it's physical illness or mental illness, and there's millions probably of articles that would back me up. So I know I could experience some censorship of what I just said. I just wanted to get that off my chest. So thank you for watching. God bless.